Well, just to refresh your memories, we took the perspectives of being a task force put together by the top management of our company called City Shop. And City Shop is a regional company that provides the Midwest with discounted goods as well as a pharmacy for our customers. Our competitors have recently started using data mining and have seen positive results. This has prompted.
We've started.
Yeah, we started.
Oh, no, this was just the
This was just to give you a reminder of who we are.
Oh, okay,
No.
we haven't started. We haven't started yet.
Apologies.
No problem.
So, like I was saying, our competitors have recently started using data mining and have seen positive results. This has prompted our top management and you, the board of directors, to entertain the idea of data mining. Our goal as a task force is to decide whether or not we should implement data mining, if we should notify our customers of our decision and the reasoning behind it, and if we should prohibit the selling of any of our data. We are from the University of St. Thomas. My name is Ben Smidga. This is Emily Godring. This is Michaela Anderson and Alex Smith. So have you ever been on the internet and you've seen advertisements either pop up on the left or right side of your screen, either if you're on your iPad or laptop? Well, if I actually told you that these advertisements are directly related to what you've been looking at, Googling, or what you're looking at now on that website. Now, how can they do this? Well, your internet browsers that you search on, such as Internet Explorer, are being tracked by third-party users that have been granted access to monitor your activity. Now, how does that make you feel? Do you feel it's an invasion of your privacy? Or do you find it to be that it's easier for you to have an advertisement at the click of a button that you might like? This is exactly the issue with data, and that's what we'll be discussing today. But before I go into the discussion about our recommendation, I'd like to give you an agenda of what we'll be discussing today. First, we'll give you an overview of what data mining is and how it is used within a business. Then we'll identify our key stakeholders and our recommendation. Then we will talk about the business, legal, and ethical considerations through the analysis of our recommendation. And then at the end, we will give you a review of it. So what is data mining? Data mining is the application of database technology and techniques such as statistical analysis, predictive analytics, and modeling. These techniques allow for patterns, trends, and relationships to be revealed through a set of data. And now how can a company use this? What allows them to make better business decisions in the future. There are many uses of data mining within a business, but I'm going to focus on 4 key ones that I think that are important. The first is market segmentation. Data mining allows for a company to take a large target market and divide them up into subset groups based on common needs and priorities. The second is customer churn. Data mining allows a company to identify which customers might leave your company and go to a competitor's. The third is direct marketing. Data mining allows for a more effective and efficient way of using it by identifying which customers should be included on a mailing list about a certain product. And the last use is market basket analysis, which allows a company to gain the knowledge of what goods or services are most commonly purchased together. Overall, all these uses allow a company to create more product lines and extensions, to address and fix manufacturing issues, to acquire new customers, to increase your conversion rate of in-store and site visitors into customers, and make more accurate profiles of your present and or future customers. Now, to give you an overview of what data mining is and how it is used, I now would like to identify the key stakeholders that we had to take into consideration when arriving at our recommendation. The first stakeholder is consumers. It is their information that is being collected, and it's their activity that is also being monitored. The next is City Shop, our company. The decision to data mine or not directly affects our bottom line and our profits, as well as our reputation with our customers. The third is competitors. They're the ones who prompted us to discuss the idea of data mining, and as a benchmark, we as City Shop always strive to be better than our competitors. The fourth is community. Being a prominent company within the Midwest, it's important to understand that our decisions not only affect our business, customers, and employees, but also the community in which we're established in. And the last stakeholder is government. There are a few regulations regarding the use of data mining that companies use. Therefore, the government shares the same responsibilities and consequences that come with poor decisions when using it. After taking in all considerations from each stakeholder, we believe that City Shop should authorize data mining, should notify customers prior to the implementation of it and the reasoning behind it, and lastly, to prohibit the selling of any of our data that has been collected. Now I'll hand it over to Emily, who will discuss our recommendation with business considerations in mind. Emily?
Thank you, Ben.
All right, first we're going to look at our business considerations using a SWOT analysis. This identifies the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. First, our strengths. City Shop has a very strong customer loyalty base, and we really pride ourselves in the relations that we build and maintain with our customers. We have a very trusted and valued brand, and we really believe that our customers, they know they're going to get high quality products and services when shopping with us. We also have cash flow coming into our shop, and City Shop is a very financially stable company. We also have the access to capital when we need, so if we decide to implement data mining, we can gain the necessary funding to do so. However, we are currently seeing some weaknesses in our company as well. The first and the biggest being a loss of sales to our competitors who have implemented data mining. The second is our inventory management. We really believe that we have a really poor inventory management. We see overstock on our less popular items and back orders on our really popular items. Like an example of this would be around Christmas time when the new flat screen HD TV came out and everyone wants it, and in order to find it you have to go to 4 to 5 different stores. Well, data mining can help us reduce this and help us to better effectively and efficiently know what to put on our shelves and forecast our sales in the future. We're also experiencing a loss in market share to our competitors who have implemented data mining and have shown success doing so. We have a very broad and general marketing strategy right now. We need to target more segmented groups and know how to better forecast their sales and address their needs and wants as well. A company who does a really good job of this would be Walgreens. When you check out at the end, you get coupons along with your receipt, and if you notice that these coupons are for things that you bought in the past or that you just bought, and this helps bring customer churn and brings you back into the store. Through data mining, we see some opportunities. Not working. We see some opportunities as well. The first being to gain a competitive edge. Like Ben mentioned earlier, we strive to not only stay competitive in the market, but gain an edge on our competitors as well. Through this, we can offer a more tailored product and service and boost our customer satisfaction. We will be able to create new product lines and product extensions, which will be able to let us create new products and new services and reach a whole new customer base and just acquire new customers in general. After looking at our opportunities, however, we see some potential threats that could arrive, the biggest being a loss of security. Because of the current target data breaches that are going on, our customers are even more concerned about this. And in order to help this not happen, we need to increase our security in our databases. Going off this, like I mentioned earlier, we really pride ourselves in our customer relations, and we don't want to lose their trust in this process. To make sure this doesn't happen, we need to look at our legal and ethical considerations as well, which we will mention in a little bit, because they all correlate so strongly to our business considerations and the success of our business as a whole. Next, without an increase in sales, we can also experience a low possible rate of return on investment. And again, like Ben said, we are falling behind our competitors, and we need to implement data mining to not only stay competitive, but gain an edge over them. So after looking through our business considerations, using a SWOT analysis, we believe that our strengths and opportunities can be enhanced through a unique type of data mining by enhancing our, by being honest and transparent, and also minimizing our risks and threats. So to talk about our legal considerations, I'll hand it over to Michaela.
Thanks, Emily.
Currently, there's no regulatory body, state or federal, that polices the collection or sale of data on customers or consumers by companies. So by implementing data mining, we wouldn't be breaking any laws. Many customers believe that data mining is an invasion of their privacy, and they wonder, how isn't there a law that protects me from this? How is it even legal? Well, the invasion of privacy statutes that are in place now do not cover data mining within retail stores, because a retail store is a public place. So customers are willingly going to these places and willingly sharing this information. But just because it's legal, we still want to make sure our customers are comfortable with it, because we don't want our customers to think something we're doing should be illegal. So to make sure our customers are all comfortable with what we're doing, we want to be extremely transparent in the implementation of data mining. By this, we're going to explain why and how we're data mining and the customer value, what they're going to see in return. Another reason is if they're still uncomfortable, they do have the chance to opt out. And it's an easy way to opt out. They can talk to any of our store employees or visit our website, and they can easily opt out. A reason we did this is because of an example we had found with Nordstrom. They were giving their customers free Wi-Fi whenever they were shopping at the store. And it was an added convenience that customers really liked and appreciated. But when they found out the real reason behind the free Wi-Fi, which was so Nordstrom could track customers' locations throughout the store, different patterns they had, what departments they spent the most time in, and even what other websites or what other clothing items they were looking up online, customers were really upset. They felt this was an invasion of their privacy because they thought it was just free Wi-Fi. They didn't realize there was anything else behind it. It ended up giving Nordstrom a negative brand reputation and hurt their customer trust. And we want to make sure this isn't something that happens to our company. HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, is a federal act that was created to prevent medical providers from selling customer data, so doctors and hospitals. A major loophole is that it doesn't prevent pharmacies from selling the same type of data because technically they aren't medical providers. Many believe that this is a big issue because if hospitals and doctors can't sell the information, why should pharmacies be able to sell the same information? And it's been such a controversy that there has been states who have started to enact legislation that prevents pharmacies from selling this type of data. As a company that has pharmacies in all of our store locations, this is something that we really need to consider. So we felt it was in our best interest because we want our customers to experience and expect the same great customer service no matter what state they're in, to use the same business practices from state to state. So because it is against the law in some states to not sell data within pharmacies, we felt it was best that as a company we don't collect or sell data for data mining reasonings in any of our pharmacies, because it has been something that our customers have voiced complaints about. So we will have to collect, however, what is required of us by law and just general information to make sure that we are still running a positive and good business. But again, we won't use that information for data mining reasonings. Finally, data mining is being done legally by many companies that you and I use every day, like Google, Facebook, Target, even the government. And I don't want to make it sound like just because everybody else is doing it, we're going to do it too. We feel like we have seen a loss in market share because our competitors have done it, but we think that we can data mine differently, in a way that provides us with a competitive advantage. We believe that by being transparent in the implementation of data mining, that we will be able to create customer trust and continue to build that brand loyalty that has made us successful. Now I'm going to pass it over to Alex to go over our ethical considerations.
Thank you, Michaela. When it comes to implementing a new strategy within our business at City Shop, it is important that we are aware of all the ethical issues that may arise. So, as Michaela said, I will be discussing our ethical consideration through a framework of the 4 avenues that we use to help lead us towards moral insight. Our first avenue is interests. Interests are grounded within consequences or happiness. And an example of this is you're walking through the store, you see a pair of shoes, and you make an impulse buy because it satisfies your needs and wants at that moment. Our second avenue is rights. Rights are moral or legal entitlements which protect freedoms, liberties and freedoms while promoting fairness. Our third avenue is duties. Duties are moral or obligations that arise from others' rights or promises one may have, or even roles within a community. Then our last avenue is virtues. Virtues are habits of good character or corporate policies that contribute to individual and community flourishing. So now that you have a basic understanding of what those 4 avenues are, I'll take you more in depth on each avenue and and explain some of those key issues that may arise. Like I said before, the first avenue is interest. Our community and consumers share the similar interests of wanting to be able to purchase products or services that are tailored towards themselves and are easily accessible while saving money. And I'm sure many of you can relate, and I personally can relate, when you're flipping through Sunday ads and you cut out coupons that fit the products that you like to buy or that fit your needs for that week. Our interests at City Shop are to provide our customers with those beneficial goods and service, which we believe we can do through data mining. We also have the interest of creating and gaining customer loyalty based off of the information that we have collected through data mining. We can provide them with coupons, loyalty programs, promotions that will fit their needs and wants, creating a better shopping experience and more customer loyalty. And with the creation of that customer loyalty, we want to use that as an advantage and gain a share in our marketplace. At City Shop, we also have the interest of making a profit while maintaining our excellent company reputation. We can maintain this reputation by making sure we use legal and ethical practices while respecting our consumers when we are implementing data mining. Solely looking at the interest-based point of view, it is important that City Shop is aware of everybody's interests, and when it comes to implementing data mining, we should protect those and take those into consideration. And looking just at those, is we should implement data mining because it would fulfill the community's, consumers, and our interests, but it is still important that we look at the other three avenues that are involved. When it comes to rights, it is important that we at City Shop are aware of our stakeholders' rights and that we do not violate any of their liberties or take away their freedom. Our consumers and community share many rights that we need to be aware of, and one of the main rights is the right to privacy. Many consumers already feel that their privacy is being violated by the companies that are data mining because they're collecting large amounts of personal information without their consent. However, at City Shop, we don't necessarily need a large amount of information to be successful at it, and the data that we do collect is not directly related to their name, but rather an ID number, so we protect them in that way. Our rights at City Shop are to provide a good or service in exchange for a profit, and we also have the right to provide excellent customer service, which we feel we can do through data mining by targeting deals and promotions to our consumers individually and creating customer satisfaction in that way. But in order to act on these rights, it is important that we take a step back, take in everybody else's interests and rights, and make sure that we do not violate any of those. Now on to duties. Duties and rights are oftentimes closely related. And this is because if you fulfill your duty, you are oftentimes protecting the rights. And this is because duties derive from others' rights, promises, or roles within a community. Our consumers and community, once again, are closely related in this way, and they have a duty to themselves. That is to protect and regulate their personal information. They can do this by just being cautious and aware of who they're giving this information to and what information they're giving out. Our duty at City Shop is our duty to our consumers and community at City Shop is to provide them with a beneficial good or service that is tailored towards their needs. And we feel that data mining can help us in this because we can target those, we can analyze their purchase history and target deals and coupons that are directly linked to products that they purchase on a regular basis. We also have a duty to our shareholders, and that is to provide them with a beneficial to provide them with a positive and steady return on their investment. And data mining can help us by creating this customer satisfaction and loyalty, which leads to more sales. which leads to a positive return on our shareholders' investment. When it comes to the government, they play a huge role in duties because it is their job to protect the community, consumers, and even businesses. They have a duty to the community and consumers, and that is to protect them by regulating businesses on what they can and cannot collect. With that being said, they also have a duty to the businesses, and that is to respect their practices. If they do not respect their practices, they may violate those businesses' rights and take away some of their freedoms. Overall, it is important that at City Shop we fulfill our duties while respecting our stakeholders' rights, interests, and their duties as well. Our last avenue is virtues. In this avenue, our company and consumers need to be the most virtuous. Our consumers need to show prudence when it comes to their personal information and their identity. And they can do this by simply making sure that they are aware and cautious of what information they're giving out and who they are allowing to access that information. At City Shop, it is more important that we act in a virtuous way. We need to be honest and transparent when it comes to implementing data mining, and our policy of informing our consumers that sorry about that. I'll just keep going. So our duty, or our virtues of being honest and transparent, our policy of informing our consumers of why that we are implementing data mining, why we're implementing data mining, and how we are going to use the information that we collect shows honesty and transparency. This allows them to be more open and comfortable to the idea of participating in our loyalty program, and also it allows them to see that we are loyal to them and want them to feel appreciated. Overall, as a task force, we believe if City Shop acts in a virtuous way by showing honesty, transparency, and fair-mindedness, if we are honest and transparent and fair-mindedness, we can fulfill our duties and protect the rights and interests of our community and consumers. So now I'll hand it back over to Ben for a quick review. Ben?
Thank you, Alex. So after going through an analysis of our position through business, legal, and ethical considerations, I'd just like to give you a review of what our recommendation is. So first, we said that we believe that we should implement data mining. This allows us to provide our customers with a more tailored marketing strategy, promotions, and overall shopping experience with us by collecting their data through loyalty cards, credit cards, purchase history, and one of the techniques that we said earlier, market basket analysis. Secondly, it allows us to better forecast sales, which will allow us to manage our inventory levels more effectively and efficiently. And lastly, it will allow us to stay competitive within the market. The second part of our recommendation is that we believe that we should notify our customers through social media, email blasts, in-store signs, or possibly even commercials to notify them of our implementation of data mining and our reasoning behind it. This allows us to create trust and loyalty with our customers and also emphasizing that we are not intending to violate anyone's rights. The last part of our recommendation is that we believe that we should prohibit the selling of any of our data that has been collected. This proves that we are just not about profits, but that we are actually concerned with our customers' safety, privacy, and well-being. Overall, our decision is to recommend data mining to our board of directors to provide a more tailored overall shopping experience with our customers, but also maintaining a relationship with them that is based on trust and loyalty. I'd like to thank you for taking time to listen to our presentation today. We'd like to open the floor up for questions from our board of directors. Thank you.
I guess my question, not knowing my colleagues on the boards of Nordstrom's and Target, I guess I would be a little nervous about how we can promise that we'll be different and how we know we'll be different. in terms of our ethical position? Do you have any sense from the research you've done? I'm sure that Target and Nordstrom's in no way wanted the problems that they got. How is what the task force is proposing going to build in that ethical component that the others ended up failing their customers in doing?
I guess so. The biggest difference would be with Nordstrom's, they did not tell their customers that they were data mining. So by explaining really thoroughly how and why we're doing it, what information we'll be collecting, and how the customers will see value, it will be a lot different because they know what's going on. And the issue with Nordstrom's was that customers didn't know that they were data mining or even being tracked, and that was why people were upset, was because they thought they were just getting free Wi-Fi, not being tracked around the store.
How about the Target problem?
The Target problem was within their database security, and we believe that we have the ability to create a more secure database and have the funding to do so.
Personally, as a member of the board, I would want to see much more detail around that. I'm interested in how you've analysed the risks around data security and what solutions you've looked at and what ethical considerations you've taken when looking at those data security solutions.
Well, one of the ways that we said at the beginning was that we would not have a name to our profile about our customers. It would be an ID number. And that kind of eliminates some of the risk that comes with the certain information that we collect. Therefore, it's not to a certain person. Granted, we could have gone into more detail about our security, but we intend to have security for our customers and make sure that it's never breached. And we will constantly pursue that security in our promise to our customers.
You've recognized the importance of their customer loyalty to the business. Have you considered, or is there any benchmark with competitors of the customers opting in as opposed to opting out?
I guess from our research, we didn't see a lot of information about, how many people would opt in or versus opt out. But we felt that by being so transparent and explaining it, that we were also making it very easy for customers to opt out if they were uncomfortable. And that was why we went with an opt-out policy versus opt-in policy, because we felt we could create customer value. And by being so transparent and making it so easy to opt out, that our customers would still be comfortable with it and ultimately appreciate it once they took the time to try it and experience it.
To go off of that, we also looked at the side of if they opt in, it could ultimately hurt our company because it is a big investment. So if we don't get a big group of consumers to opt in, that can hurt our return on our investment, our shareholders' return on their investment. But if you do the opt-out side and you're transparent with them, they're aware of what's going on, and we already have a strong customer relationship with them. So we were hoping that we'd be able to, us and our consumers would gain more out of the opt-out situation.
Who hired you guys?
Well, we were put together by the top management of our company.
So
top
you're part of the
managers.
company?
Yes.
I misunderstood the beginning, sorry. Well, whoever put this together and thought that we needed to spend time making a decision about it, I'm going to recommend to the chairman of the board that that person be fired. The reason is because data mining is a no-brainer. Your competitors are doing it. Everybody is doing it. And if we haven't been doing it in 2014, and data mining has been available to us for the last 20 years, we haven't been making as much money as we could have.
And that's,
Agreed.
That's
Yeah.
exactly our
Yeah.
standpoint. That
So
Yeah.
then wherein lies the dilemma? What's the dilemma that you guys were trying to solve?
Well, we've always been a regional company. We started out being a regional company, and we provide the Midwest with our services. And we started out as a young company, not too big, not too small, and we kind of always been behind the 8 ball. because we've always been so small, we don't necessarily have the resources such as a Target or Walmart. We're trying to build that brand, and that's why we focus so strongly on our customer trust and loyalty in our brand, and that's what we really focus on is our brand.
So now we finally have the money to do this.
Correct.
Correct.
It's now in front of us. I understand that. Thanks. There was a comment on a bullet on one of on the SWOT slide about I guess it was a threat, a low return on investment. I presume that refers to data mining.
Correct.
My understanding is that the return on investment for data mining is very high. Why was it listed as low?
Yeah, in most cases, I mean, the implementation is extremely expensive. So up front, it is a very expensive upfront cost that you do have to face. So if you don't see an increase in sales along with it, there is that threat of a low ROI.
To go off of that, we're with the data breach with Target and everybody becoming more aware of what the dangers are. We felt that we might not get the customers that agree that opt in or participate in our loyalty program, that we can do this. So we're thinking that could hurt us in that way, and we get a low return because we don't have enough information. We put all the money up front, but we're not getting enough information to be successful at it.
Okay.
What do you think the biggest challenge to us as a company is as a result of your proposal?
I think the biggest challenge would be in making sure that we are able to show our customers the value through the advertisements before they have the chance, to actually experience it. I believe that we can be extremely transparent through our advertisements. We have email blast, social media, in-store signage to really explain what we're doing, but to make sure that our customers see the value before they actually experience it. So to make sure that customers are willing to at least give it a shot beforehand, I think would be the biggest challenge.
And not lose their trust in the process, because we really value that as a company too.
As a follow-up to that, my concern would be that we're doing this at the worst possible time, when trust has already been broken by major companies. So have you thought through what it is about how we will do this? And I understand you've suggested the ID. Do you know whether Target and Nordstrom's also used the ID? Did Nordstrom?
Target did not use the ID. That's why their
Right.
data breach was.
And Neiman Marcus apparently didn't use the ID either.
Most companies do not use the ID system. And that was one of the main things we wanted to do because it does disconnect the actual customer's name. So if there was a case where somebody got access to it, they couldn't tie it back to any particular person or their address or something like that, where it would be secure in that way as well. But then I think the biggest thing is that if we come up front and be honest and say, we know that you guys are skeptical about data mining and you have lost your trust with some other companies, we don't want to be just another one of those companies. We want to make sure that we still are, City Shop, your regional local retailer that you have known and trusted, and we want to continue that, but also give you something more, just enhanced overall customer experience, through the data mining tactics. And we think that our customers will see that we're going out of our way to try and get them to keep their trust in us, even though we are implementing data mining. And other companies have had issues with it. So we think that that would be the major way to help us.
It's almost a support system for them to be able to have a close relationship with us by going to any one of our employees at our stores and ask information and get as much information on it as we can and support them through the decision of whether or not they want to participate in our loyalty program.
So your employees, the little old lady who's greeting people at the door is going to know enough about this to explain it to a sophisticated customer? Mm-hmm. Really?
We have extensive customer training, or employee training.
How are we doing on time?
We have 10 minutes
10
left.
minutes. No. Oh, we have 10 minutes left. Okay.
Of this segment. So that low return on investment is a potential. I don't like that. That's, board of directors don't like low return on investment. So why couldn't you foreclose the option of selling data? Companies do this all the time. Now, if we're upfront about it, just like we are about the fact that we're going to be data mining, if we tell our customers that we're going to be selling the data in order to generate revenue, in order to keep their prices down, why isn't that a reasonable approach? Can we make a lot of money from it?
I guess the reason we said not to sell data, other than just the trust factor, was that we know that we can control our own actions and we know what we're doing is ethical and right, but we can't control the actions of a third party. And we want our customers to know that we're not in it for just the profits, that we really are just trying to give them a better customer service experience and just overall experience while they shop at our stores, and that we really do care about them and don't want anything that we wouldn't want to happen to us. So that's why we wanted to keep the information within our own company.
Good. Other questions? I still have more if nobody else. So we're going to go in for a little bit of data mining compared to other places. But if our customers think that we're data mining, they're not going to know that it's a little as opposed to a lot. I mean, they're just going to know that we're now data mining. We're now one of the rest of corporate America, plus the government that's doing it, the bad guys. So if we're gonna dip our toe in it, why don't we just jump in the pool? Do you think our customers are so sophisticated that they're going to be able to distinguish between a little bit of data mining and a lot?
I guess, what do you mean by a little bit of data mining? Like, what part
But
did
you
you get that
said
from?
the only data mining we're going to be doing is in store, for example. We have a website, right? Kids can shop online at our store.
Yep.
We have gotten into the 21st century.
Yeah.
So why aren't we data mining online as well?
I think that would be something we definitely would implement, probably the second round of data mining.
Okay, but that was not part of this.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
All right, I understand.
We want to overwhelm
Yeah,
customers
it was-
all at once.
Yeah.
You're from Minnesota.
We're from
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are too.
I'm good.
So, I understand that we have excellent customer training, and I understand that we have a code of conduct that you didn't really talk a lot about. How would our culture support what it is you're trying to accomplish, and what is there that would make it easier for our customers to be responsive to data mining in spite of what's happening in the world around them?
Can you explain a little bit more? I guess I'm a little confused at your question. Like, what
Well, the
different
values-
aids we would have for them to
The
use?
values of City Shop,
Mhm.
you didn't mention how that would enhance what you're trying to accomplish. How our company values
Oh,
would
okay.
fit what you're trying to move our customers to. Do you think it would be a radical surprise to them, or do you think that what you're talking about is aligned with our company values?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that as just a regional retailer that started off small and grew, our values have always been based around serving our community and focused on our community and that trust. And so I think by implementing the data mining and by being able to better serve our community and our customers, that it wouldn't be a radical change, and that they wouldn't be surprised by that we could explain it in a way where they would understand that it is the 21st century, this is what people are doing, we're going to do it a little bit differently because we really do care about you, and we want to make sure your information is safe with us, but that we can provide you with a better service than we have been able to.
Is there an incentive for anyone to hack in to to us if it's ID numbers?
It takes a lot of it out because you can't use their name or their credit card number to buy anything online or get any money from them because you don't have that information.
No, but what could happen is that a competitor could pay a hacker to hack into the system just to make us look like we didn't know what we were doing. Have you thought about that?
We haven't.
I guess we never
No, we
thought
haven't thought about that. I think that that will go back to making sure that our security is like above our competitors, like we had said, and try and always be above, striving to be, better than our competitors, and that would be something we would just have to make sure we were on the cutting edge of that as well, making sure we had enough security and the awesome hacker that makes sure no one's hacking into our database.
They can hack the Pentagon, they can.
We're gonna
No,
get
that's
that
a good
guy.
point. And while it's not an ethical issue, it is a business issue that I'm concerned about, that even though they're only getting ID numbers, they're learning the buying habits of those ID numbers and what kind of person we're making sales to and how we're making those sales. And that could start to diminish our competitive advantage.
So on your SWOT analysis, I would be more comfortable if you added the issue of competitor as a threat, because I think that
We did have competitors on there as a threat.
but you didn't have it from the same perspective. that you-
Right.
Yeah.
From stealing our data.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Again, it is a business question, but you would
Yeah,
expect
no,
that
that's
from us.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
3 minutes.
In the 3 minutes, is there anything we're shifting? Anything, before we give you feedback, is there anything you'd like to ask us about the feedback we gave you? I mean, is there anything that you'd
You
like
wanna
to ask us
ask
about
the
the
board of
questions?
directors.
Is there anything you want to, well, I'm shifting
Oh, you're
that part of
shifting
it,
it.
it's ending and adding something that
Oh, all
we,
right, okay.
if that's okay with the rest
Yeah.
of you. In terms of the questions we asked, is there anything that you want to ask us as follow-up to that question, of those questions that would be helpful to you, that you didn't have a chance to ask before we give you feedback on the overall performance?
Not really, I don't know.
No, not really. Yeah.
Okay, then we'll just,
Yeah, the only one was, but I
But you-
clarified
you
that
get-
with
you
you already,
clar- yeah.
so yeah.
okay. All right, so let's move into have a seat, be comfortable. Let's move into our feedback to you as individuals. First of all, high praise to Alec and to Ben for absolutely not acting like the world had just fallen apart because you lost something critical.
Yeah, the computer just turned on.
Yeah, and I
Yeah, it's-
debated whether to get up and get Michael, and I thought, you seem to be moving along, and you didn't seem to need it. But did it? Aside from
I'm
the
not
sound-
gonna lie, it
Yeah.
threw me off a little bit. I kind of lost where I was because I could see it out of my eye flickering. I was like, man, but overall, you just gotta go with it. It's gonna happen. If you can,
Your fair
You can-
complexion didn't help because you turned red.
yeah, probably
The
not.
voice kept going.
You were about to pull earlier.
It's the sun. It's strong.
Is this any real content, or is it that you significantly had so mastered your material that you just kept on going without giving us the
It
visual
was
aids?
definitely the second point. We
Yeah, we
practiced
just
this
kept
and
going.
countless of times, and we know it by heart. We've mastered the material for sure.
Well, on behalf of the system, I apologize for the disruption, but you really, you kind of moved through it. Who'd like to start with feedback?
I'll start. I thought you did a really good job with the overview of what was going to come and then following through with that as well as the summary. I'm going to pick up on your point for a bit. I think tying it into the company values, their code of conduct, would make a stronger ethical argument in terms of this is a continuation of what we have said we're going to do and how we want to continue to operate business.
I thought it was a great presentation. I think you guys, your preparation was superb. My concern for tomorrow, as you move into the actual competition, is that it seems like you worked hard to create a stalking horse, or that this is almost a red herring. I'm using these hackneyed phrases, but I really don't see the ethical issue here. And to the degree that there is, you have covered it. I mean, you have absolutely covered it. You are concerned with the image of your company, and you are taking every possible precaution to ensure that your customer is protected and that their experience is enhanced. But I keep coming back to it. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think if it were the question of whether you're going to sell it, I think then you're faced more with an ethical dilemma. But right now, the business case is overwhelmingly in favor of doing data mining, with only a minor consideration on the ethical side, which you have, again, covered that very effectively. You just don't, given that the ethical side is worth 2 times the rest of the presentation, the other categories of the presentation, I'm concerned that your judges tomorrow might go, okay, you know, it's just not that big a deal. I think you have made a business case, you've made a legal case, and to the degree that one needed to be made, you made an ethical case. I don't know that that's helpful or not.
So are you saying you'd like to see us come out up front and be like, all right, here's what the actual ethical issue is regarding our standpoint? So we focus on the right to privacy and invasion of privacy versus just a general business practice.
Yeah, I mean, that could help, is to present that ethical, to the degree that there is one, present the ethical dilemma up front. You know, with the other companies have experienced this, they've gone down a bad rat hole. We're not going to let that happen, but we've got to do it. If we're going to stay competitive,
I think if we talked about selling, it would make it stronger, like a stronger point for tomorrow. If we talked about like not selling data,
I don't think we want to shift their proposal.
No, I don't think you want to shift the
That's what I-
proposal, but the fact that, I think that it ought to be highlighted that that was
Right.
that was a significant consideration, and that you've elected not to do it at this point.
Okay.
You can consider it in the future, just as you said. But I think that's more of an ethical dilemma for you, whether to data mine or not.
A little bit to Chris's point, and I hope this helps, and give us feedback if it doesn't. Alex, you talked a lot about duty, rights, responsibilities, and a little bit of it got abstract. And because the ethical piece of it is important and you don't have as complex a situation as other ethical issues might have been, I'm wondering if it helps at all, and to Chris's point about the earlier focus, you're really recommending this at the worst possible time, given the public skepticism about big business. The approval rating is pretty low, and so I wonder if you don't need to spend a little more time talking about how the ethical behavior of the company is going to be, that the challenge for you is that the expectations of society on companies in this situation have raised the bar on your own company's ethical behavior. Does that seem like something?
That makes sense.
And if you do that, then you're making it less of a no-brainer. I mean, Chris's point is a really good one. It is a no-brainer to do this. But on the other hand, and you've protected yourself a little bit because you've got great customer service, you've got loyalty, you've got a lot of the things that some other companies don't have going for them, but you've created this in this company. But the ethical behavior piece of it is still going to be absolutely essential, and the burden, and to your point about the potential of a competitor ruining that by virtue of getting in, you've got an interesting dynamic that you can play with at the beginning. And you only have 10 minutes. But I think you do need to sharpen how you're going to do things differently. Acknowledging what hasn't happened by others. Does that make sense?
So what we plan to do different, so we are going to be more transparent. We are going to increase our security, things like that. Is that what you're trying to get at? Like how we...
That would help.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, you certainly don't tomorrow with 10 minutes. Is that how long they have?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
You do not have time to go into that,
No.
into the four different avenues.
Right.
I mean, you have to get right down to what you are going to do in order to protect your customer and not to go down that ethical rabbit hole that other companies have.
While acknowledging the business and
Right.
acknowledging the legal, not to minimize that. You're starting to say something.
yeah, I think I'm now talking to someone who's looking quite hard at data security in their own company. One angle you could consider, which kind of ties into what both Gail and Chris said, is the cost of doing this has just gone through the roof. Okay? Because Target were on the news this morning following their CEO's resignation. They don't know how it happened yet. So they, millions and billions of dollars, they still don't know how it happened. Putting in a data security system that will stop this from happening so that you can say, one of you said, we're going to promise the customers. You do not want to promise the customer. It's an ethical dilemma right there because you can't. Because there are hackers, like I say, not really flippant. They can hack into the Pentagon, they can hack into your store. And I think the ethical dilemma is very realistic. It's the temptation to sell the data, the temptation to make money, not doing it the way that you were talking about, has just got a little bit higher. Because to pay for doing it in the first place, you're going to have to spend so much more than you did before. So my feedback would be, needs to be slightly more realistic about what you might have. If you were really proposing this to a board of directors, you were very nice about it, very thoughtful about your customers, and I think you'd be a little bit more aggressive about it. I think you'd face a lot more pressure from the board, like, come on, grow up.
Right.
This is how business works. I mean, to be frank, I'd probably fire you for being pussy. Seriously. And that's not meant to discourage you. It's that tough right now. It really is that tough right now. But I thought you presented very well. I thought you argued your case very, very well. You could afford to smile and relax because it always helps. But you did a good job, and also I was impressed with the technology.
So, in terms of what we said, what feels right, what feels overwhelming, if anything, what doesn't feel good, and give us feedback so that we don't want you to leave feeling anything other than you have a clear sense of how you're going to make those 10 minutes tomorrow count for you. You have great information. The question is, how do you put together the dots to connect? You can't solve the problem that Emma's talking about. You can't solve the problem Chris is talking about. You've defined a universe. What is it that you've heard, if anything, that might be confusing to get you to that place?
I guess mine, because I'll be doing the 10 minutes, is what points would we really try to bring in from the whole, do we bring in the whole presentation or do we focus directly on
Well, your advisor will give you, good feedback on that. I think you'd make a huge mistake, my 2 cents, if you tried to condense into 30 minutes, into 10 minutes, 30 minutes worth of stuff. And your presentation shouldn't be the 10 minutes that you do. You're part of it.
Yep.
That would really, you don't have time for that.
Yeah.
But the spirit of each of what you've said around making the case about the ethical challenge, the timing, I think those are things that you need to deal with, because as we said, the climate, while both supporting the logic of it, now makes it more challenging. Anything that you each can add that would help?
Yeah. So that SWOT slide, good slide, and probably can be a centerpiece, and then the ethical dilemma, given the time constraints that you're going to have. And the challenge of meeting the ethical dilemma, as Gail said, in today's atmosphere, where there is so much skepticism out there in the public about people worming companies and organizations and governments worming their way into our private data.
And to Emma's point about not being able to offer guarantees.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah.
And to Kathy's about the culture, supporting you in what you're doing. So it's not the huge leap. Apparently Target didn't have that culture.
So what I'm getting here is that we need to focus more on our customer security in our approach to data mining, our culture values, and how we would do it differently, and then tie all our ethical issues that we have around that. That's kind of what I'm understanding.
Did you get the legal and the business?
Yeah, that would be in our approach, would be the legal, ethical, and the business, and then our culture values and things.
And well, we've given you feedback, but understand that you've lived this for what, months?
Yeah.
Months and months. So the smartest thing I think to do, and hopefully if you disagree, tell me, is you need to internalize that which is the most helpful to you. And you need to present tomorrow with the integrity of what you're comfortable with. We're not necessarily going to be the judges of that, and it would be unethical for us to script for you what you need to do to win, because we don't know the answer to that, and we don't want to mislead you. But we wanted to find the balance between challenging some of the thinking that might not be as productive in 10 minutes with stimulating you connecting the dots out of your own emotion and passion for this issue, because you wouldn't have picked it if it wasn't one that you stand behind. So we don't want to change that. Does that make sense?
It is.
And so, Ben, what you said sounds fine. There's probably lots of other ways to mix that based on how you all, as you debrief, feel the most passionate about what you're going to do tomorrow. Because passion, conviction in the presentation is going to be critical.
And then you have that, we don't want you to lose it.
And it's a great job. If it wasn't, we wouldn't have invested the time to give you suggestions. So don't take that the wrong way.
We appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Good job.
Thank you.